Hello, my lovelies. This is the Moon Gypsy. Yesterday was the full moon. Lots of energy in the corn moon. This is the time that the veil is very thin. The veil between this world and the spirit world. So many people have asked over the years, how do you get the spirits to visit you? Your ancestors, your loved ones. Many know that for years they have come to visit me. I don't really have an answer to how you can get them to come to you. All I can tell you is how they come to me. So, many people will tell you all different ways. Different cultures have different ways. All I can tell you is what works for me. And what will work for you may be something different. But I'm going to give you some ideas. So let me start out telling you that ever since I was a child, the spirits have come to visit. The first one that ever came to me was my grandfather. I was 15 years old. I thought I was dreaming that there was a child at the end of my bed. So there was a child there. At the end of my bed was a cedar chest that was actually my grandfather's mother's cedar chest. And on top of the cedar chest was his military picture. So let me just tell you that to start out with. But anyway, at the end of the cedar chest, there was a child when I had woke up, or I thought I was awake. And I kept staring at this child, and as I stared at him, he began to grow in age. From the child like 6 years old to about 15 years old, and then 30 years old, and then he appeared as the man, elderly man when he died. Then I realized I was not asleep. And he stared at me and he said, "It's time." Which of course freaked me out, because what is it time for? Are you trying to take me somewhere? It is not my time. Well, what he was wanting was, he wanted some work done. It was time to get his work done so he could rest. And when I took care of that for him, he stopped appearing. But what brought him to me? My thought, my belief was, there was something in my room that had belonged to him, had always been in his house, the cedar chest that was his mother's, and his picture. So he knew that he could come to me safely and I would do his work for him, which I did. So as the years went on, more spirits in the family decided that I was the one they could talk to. I am the one who does the family history in my family. I'm the one who does the photographs for the family, and I've passed that down through the years to those who would like it. So they realize I'm open, and that's why they come. So in my house now, that I'm old, but through the years, I've always had an ancestral altar in my house. You wouldn't know that's what it was if you didn't know what you were looking at. Usually there's pictures of whoever's passed on together. There's candles. Always something simple like that through the years. Well, now, since I'm older and I don't really care what anybody else thinks, I do what I want to have out in my house. I have an altar in my office area. It's a table with a white cloth on it. There's pictures of my husband's father, my dad's father, my husband's cousin, my husband's brother, things like that on the table. There's candles on the table. And with each picture, there's something that belonged to that person or something that they really enjoyed in life. So I'll give you an example. And excuse me, we'll have to turn a little bit, but I don't have a table in front of me to do this. So this is a skeleton key. I don't know how good you can see it. This key, my husband's father carried several years before he passed away. He really liked it, and I'm not really sure what the whole story is behind the key, but he carried it with him all the time. Probably like a good luck charm. And when he passed away, my husband got the key. So for the last, I don't know, almost 20 years now, my husband has carried the key. And recently he passed it to me when we put the altar table up, so the key can lay by his father's picture. Also by the key, the man smoked Pall Mall red cigarettes. He called them pale male. So there are those cigarettes laying there, and also he was a big vodka drinker. Loved vodka and orange Coke. So those are offerings we leave there on the table for him. You could leave anything there. Somebody likes, in your family, if they liked cake, if they loved flowers, anything that was personal to them, those are good things to put on the table to invite them to come in. So anyway, when you start to, I'm just going to give you a little caution, when you start to invite the spirits into your house, remember that the portal is open to any spirits, not just the good ones, not the ones that you're calling, not just the ones that you're calling. It could be spirits that you don't want to come in. So we have to protect ourselves. This is an insulator. I keep it in the house to keep the negative energy away. As you know, these go on the electric poles to keep you from getting shocked or killed. It's to keep you safe. So it would be shocking to me if a bad spirit came in. So it's really just symbolism to me, is why I keep it on my working altar for safety. This is black salt. I make this black salt myself, but you can buy it anywhere on the internet. You can buy it at the grocery store. I use it to cast a circle around the area that I'm working in if I'm actually going to call the spirits in. That way, just to keep safety. This is a cool little glass that I got. In this glass, I keep it on the altar table. I keep vodka in it. Vodka was his father's favorite, and so if I feel like I want him to visit, then I'll put vodka in there, put a little orange Coke on the side. Sometimes I just keep it full of water because, as they say, the spirits are very thirsty when they come. Citrus is also a good thing to leave on the table. You can cut slices of oranges and leave them there. They have a real attraction to the citrus. I keep things like fresh bread, fresh baked bread, cornbread. They like that. Just offerings for the spirits. You'll be amazed when you leave it what they come to eat it. I was telling my son earlier today, we were talking about this, and I said, you know, if something happens to me and you ever want me to come back and visit you, guess what you should leave for me? And he's like, Mom, that's crazy. You know, don't tell me things like that. And I said, well, you better have a Diet Coke and an M&M on the table, and then I'll come see you. If anybody leaves that there, I will come visit you. So if you think about it that way, what did your loved ones love in this life? Those are the things that you can leave for them on the altar table to invite them in. Here's a little Jack Daniels. You could leave that. I leave that on the altar table for his cousin. He did love Jack Daniels in his life, and so that gets left there for him. Just trying to give you some little ideas. Could be very simple things. There was a young man, he passed away a couple years ago now. He was a beautiful light in this world. And I remember him saying one day how much he loved Old Bay. It's a spice, if you don't know about it. Old Bay. And you put it on crab, you put it on shrimp, you know, seafood dishes. He loved it. So when I want to see how he's doing, or I want to call him in, I set out the Old Bay for him. It's that simple. Just very simple things to get them to come. Like I said, things that you would love would get them to come in and talk to you. Also, one thing You can light your candles. I put out the resins. I use the copal resins, burn them on the coal disc. I also get the Nag Champa and light the incense to call them in. There's many things that you can do. You have to set your intention when you do it. You have to be at a peace. You have to have yourself open. If you're not open for the spirits to come, they don't come. So that's what works for me. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you would like some help with that, I'm open to help anybody. If you like what we're talking about in here, subscribe to my page, my channel. That's it be, y'all.